All right, let's dive into something huge happening in India's tech scene. We're talking about the incredible comeback of venture capital. After a couple of pretty chilly years, things are really starting to heat up. And there's one area that's not just hot, it's absolutely on fire: generative AI. So let's unpack how this whole thing is unfolding. You've probably heard the term funding winter thrown around a lot over the last 2 years, right? Well, it looks like that long winter is finally over. The frost is thawing, and in 2024, it became clear that India's investment landscape is seeing a major revival. And when I say major, I mean it. We're not talking about a small uptick, we're talking about a massive rebound. The number for venture capital funding in India this year, a whopping $13.7 billion. That's a huge signal that confidence and a whole lot of capital is flowing back into the ecosystem. So, to put that number into perspective, that's a 1.4 times jump from what we saw in 2023. But here's the really wild part. This happened while the rest of the Asia-Pacific market was basically flat. So India isn't just recovering, it's sprinting ahead of the pack. Okay, so what's behind this great thaw? How did this happen? You might think it was just a couple of giant headline-grabbing deals, but that's not the whole story. Not even close. The real engine behind this comeback was a surge in the sheer number of investments being made. Get this, the actual number of deals shot up by 45%. We went from around 880 deals in 2023 to more than 1,270 in 2024. What that tells us is that investors are feeling confident again. They aren't just placing a few big bets on so-called sure things. No, they're spreading the capital around, funding everything from tiny startups to more established companies. It's a sign of real, broad-based health in the market. All right, so we've got all this money pouring in. The big question is, where's it all going? Let's follow the money and see which sectors really hit the jackpot in 2024. And wow, this chart really paints a picture. Just look at that huge slice for consumer tech. It grabs almost 40% of the entire pie. That's insane. We're talking $5.4 billion, which is more than double what it got the year before. It's a massive vote of confidence in companies that cater directly to you and me, the Indian consumer. And these aren't just abstract company names. You'll definitely recognize some of these. We've got Zepto for your super fast groceries, Meesho for online shopping, Rebel Foods. These are household names, right? And they're the ones pulling in the really big checks. It just goes to show how these huge numbers connect directly to the services we actually use every day. Okay, so that's the big picture. But within this massive tech boom, there's a really interesting subplot happening, a story that might just be the most important one of all. And that's India's very specific, very strategic bet on the future: generative AI. And I think this quote from Excel just nails it. They say, AI isn't just another technological wave, it's a paradigm shift. That's such a powerful way to put it. This isn't just a new app or a new gadget. It's something that's fundamentally changing, well, everything. And you can see that paradigm shift in the money. Just look at this growth. We went from about $250 million in generative AI funding in 2023 to nearly $390 million in 2024. That's a 1.5 times jump in a single year. That's not just investor interest, that's a gold rush. But here's where it gets really interesting. India is not just copying what everyone else is doing. See, on the global stage, you have these giants spending billions to build massive foundational AI models from scratch. Think OpenAI. It's an incredibly expensive race. India's approach? It's different. It's arguably smarter. Instead of building the whole engine from the ground up, the focus is on building the cars, the tools, and the platforms that use that engine to solve real, specific, everyday problems. So why this practical focus? Well, it comes down to tangible results. It just makes sense. Investors are seeing that these AI applications can plug right into how businesses already work. Plus, with the rise of no-code solutions, development is faster than ever. We're seeing companies go from a small test, a pilot project, to a full-blown commercial contract in record time. This strategy is all about speed and making an immediate impact, especially in vital fields like healthcare and finance. So with all this momentum, it really makes you wonder, what's next? What does the future hold for India's tech scene as we look towards 2025 and beyond? Well, it looks like this rocket ship isn't slowing down anytime soon. In fact, there's some serious fuel being added to the fire. First off, the government is going all in with its massive $1.2 billion India AI mission. We're also seeing new AI centers of excellence popping up to boost collaboration. And on top of all that, the rules are actually getting simpler for investors. It's the perfect storm for even more innovation in really exciting new areas like deep tech and semiconductors. And that all leads us to one big, fascinating question for the future. While the rest of the world is locked in this hugely expensive battle to build the biggest foundational AI models, could India's smart, practical focus on applications be its secret weapon? Could this be the strategy that allows India to leapfrog the competition and carve out its own distinct leadership role in the global AI revolution? It's a pretty compelling thought, and you can bet we'll be watching very closely to see how it all plays